In 1969, Apollo 11 became the first manned spacecraft to land on the moon. The event remains one of the most iconic in modern American history. Omar Jimenez is in Cape Canaveral, Florida, as the nation celebrates the 50th anniversary of the groundbreaking mission.
How do you commemorate one of the greatest moments in human history? Well, that is exactly what NASA is going to be doing over the course of this weekend, especially Saturday. That is the day that 50 years ago, Neil Armstrong first stepped foot on the moon, and in doing so, changed the course of history forever. 50 years ago, July 20th, 1969, the Apollo 11 mission successfully put the first man on the moon.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Neil Armstrong's historic steps, taken 6 hours after the initial lunar landing, officially ended the space race.
Apollo 11 was about setting an ambitious goal before the world.
An estimated 650 million people worldwide tuned in to the spacewalk. And a lot of those people still remember exactly what they were doing when those iconic steps were taken.
Nobody could believe that it was even happening. You'd look up at the moon, it seemed so far away.
A host of events were planned for the week leading up to the mission's 50-year commemoration. Starting July 16th, the anniversary of the Apollo 11 launch, an image of the Saturn V rocket was projected onto the east face of the Washington Monument. Neil Armstrong's spacesuit was unveiled at the National Air and Space Museum. President Trump honored the astronauts from the historic mission at the White House Friday.
But space to me is very important.
And the U.S. Postal Service issued 2 commemorative forever stamps.
It honors the accomplishments of Apollo 11, but also they'll be around forever and can be used forever.
50 years later, the nation still celebrating the pride, the excitement, and the wonder of that historic day. And one of the biggest legacies it has left behind is achieving what many thought was impossible at the time, which begs the question, what is next? Well, NASA says it starts with going back to the moon. They hope to do so by 2024 to bring the first woman and the next man to the surface of the moon. It is a mission they hope to use as a conceptual launching pad to the next big frontier, that one being Mars. Reporting from Cape Canaveral, Florida, I'm Omar Jimenez.